Stellar Times by Louis Vuitton. I gotta say, this one to me feels a little bit overhyped. It is a very nice scent, don't get me wrong, but I am shocked by the price point. This was a blind buy for me. I had not smelled it. I wanted to get Phantasmagoria, which I had already smelled, and I had heard such rave reviews about Stellar Times, and I love a good amber, so I figured let's just be crazy and try it out. So let's first talk about what Stellar Times smells like. This is an orange blossom and amber scent that I feel like is a little bit hard to describe. It comes off fresh, especially in the opening, but it's also very thick and rich, and it just has this like thickety thickness of something throughout it. When my husband smelled this, he said that it was very pungent. And I understand what he means. I feel like for whatever reason, the Louis Vuitton extraits, they kind of have this just extra something to them. Not as like musky as the Phantasmagoria that we talked about last time, but it just has this extra pow of something that I can understand someone kind of taking a step back and be like, whoa. Like when he smelled it, he literally was like, whoa. And again, I don't think it smells bad, but there's something in there. Let's go over the notes for Stellar Times. This is gonna open up with orange blossom, white amber in the heart with balsamic Peru balsam. That's probably what's giving it that kind of thickety something or other in there. And the base is warm wood notes. That's all we have listed. It's a very unique smell. It's very hard for me to describe. You definitely have to like orange blossom and like a thickety thick amber resinous type of fragrance. I don't think it's pungent like my husband does. I think it makes it feel and smell very rich and luxurious. And I think it definitely projects like a beast way more than the Phantasmagoria, that's for damn sure. But I can also understand someone smelling it up close on skin and being like, what is that? Is it worth the money? In my opinion, 100% no. And not just because I think it's crazy to spend, you know, more than $600 or close to $600 for a fragrance. There are some by Guerlain that I would say I find worth the money to me, even though it's still insane. But this one, I don't know, it doesn't do anything incredibly amazing or remarkable for me to understand where Louis Vuitton is getting that price point from. But that's besides the point. Regardless of the actual price tag, this is a very well-liked scent and one that I'm very excited to share a much more affordable dupe of. So I have to give credit to Anthony and Curly Scents for this one. I had never heard of this fragrance before. I don't feel like it is really spoken about for whatever reason. I just think it goes under the radar, but this is pretty damn good. I'm talking about Belle from Anfar 1950. So I've tried like the very sweet gourmandy chocolatey scents from Anfar, but I had never heard of this. Now, first off, you guys know I can't not talk about this packaging. I am very confused. To be honest with you, I don't know how to feel. There is a part of me that feels like this looks like one of Harry Potter's professors out of Hogwarts. I don't know, that's just the vibe it's giving me. And there's another part of me that feels like, okay, it's vintagey. This has a very suede velvet type of texture to it. That's kind of cool. This is one of those you're either gonna love or hate. I truly don't know. I truly don't know. I'm very confused, but you know what? It is what it is. Let's talk about the smell. This is a really, really excellent dupe. Does it smell exactly the same as the original? No, it doesn't. But I actually think this will be more mass appealing. It doesn't have that same pungency that the original Stellar Times has. It comes off fresher, cleaner, more striking and sharp with the woody notes and less smooth, syrupy, and thickety. So depending on how you feel about that in the scent profile, I think will largely dictate whether or not you like this or if you would say you would still prefer the original. So notes from Belle, it's gonna open up with white amber and white flowers. In the heart, you get vanilla, and the base is orange blossom. So I asked my husband what he thought about both of these and which one he liked better. And believe it or not, he picked Belle, which is just so funny to me because oftentimes, you know, you see these really expensive fragrances and we sometimes have this association or connotation in our brain that tells us if we're buying a product or an item that is more expensive than another item, then the more expensive one should be what? It should be better quality, it should feel richer and more expensive. And if you're gonna compare those two, you will definitely absolutely be able to tell that the more expensive one is the higher quality one. And I think when we're talking about fragrance, it doesn't always work that way, right? Some notes in a fragrance that might make it smell thicker, more luxurious, and richer, like the Peru Balsam, which is not in the Belle. As you noticed, it was missing in there. To some people, like my husband, that can just smell like a pungent odor, and he's not gonna like that. And he doesn't think it makes it smell better. He just thinks it makes it smell kind of stinky. Whereas the Mabel, I would guess, is using more affordable options, not necessarily cheap as in low quality, but more affordable, like how they didn't use the Peru Balsam note in here. Yet it can still emote a better reaction from some people than the more expensive option. And if I were to even look at some of my most complimented fragrances, some are dupes of fragrances, some are expensive. Like it really doesn't matter. But anyways, that's a side note that's neither here nor there. I 100% understand why he would like this more. If you are very, very curious about what Stellar Time smells like, I think that this is a perfectly suitable and good option for most people. This isn't like Baccarat Rouge where it was really expensive when it came out, but it was so well liked by almost everyone. I think Stellar Times can be a polarizing scent, right? When I hear people talk about it, yes, I hear a lot of people love it, but I also hear a lot of people think it smells a little bit off. I don't know, a little bit something. And so a scent like that, you've got to really, really love to be willing to spend the $600. Or you've got to review fragrances like me, where it makes sense to, try different things out so you can compare them to cheaper alternatives and let the people know what they can probably get that will help their wallet. So yeah, I got this off of TikTok Shop. They definitely didn't even have a lot in stock when I got it. I will definitely do my best to link it down below, either tag through YouTube or I will put the link in there if you guys want to check it out. And I'd be very curious if you have smelled Stellar Times by Louis Vuitton. What are your thoughts on this fragrance? Is it worth the money? And would you be interested in checking out Belle? I'll see you guys back tomorrow for our next episode.